We know from the island example that a distributed ledger allows you to transact with coins, even if the underlying coins don't exist, just like the coin at the bottom of the ocean. We also saw how it is nearly impossible to steal coins. This was because each Yapese knows who owns a given coin and whether any transactions have changed that ownership. Now imagine that these ledgers, instead of being stored in people's heads, are stored in computers online around the world, managed by incentivized volunteers. It would still work just like with the island. Each computer would have a copy of the ledger showing coin ownership that's visible and known to everyone. Every time a person wanted to make a transaction, she would just announce to the computer network her intention to send coins to someone else. All those computers, upon hearing that announcement, would update their internal ledger by deducting a coin from her and adding a coin to the other person. We would only be missing two things to make this workable in the real world. First thing we're missing, we need a way to disguise the identities of people on the public ledger, since most of us aren't going to put our names and transaction history in public view. We can solve this with a hash function. Each person's identity details can be reduced to an unrecognizable 20-digit code, where only the owner knows the inputs required to generate the code, thus anonymizing participants. The second thing we'd be missing to make this workable is a way to quickly compare ledgers between computers, to make sure they're starting from the same version of the transaction record. We can also address this with a hash function. Each computer can turn its ledger, which is just computer text, into a 20-digit code and compare it with codes for ledgers on other computers. If the codes all agree, we know the ledgers are the same. If they're the same, it's likely they represent an accurate view of coin ownership. Implicitly, this makes it almost impossible to tamper with the ledger, because to do so, a person would have to tamper with 1,000 other ledger copies stored independently in computers around the world. We've just invented Bitcoin, the digital currency we've all heard so much about. Bitcoin is a shared distributed ledger to transfer invisible coins. Anyone can join this ledger by creating a 20-digit coded identity and obtaining coins from some other users in a transaction. Those concepts, the distributed ledger coupled with hash functions, those together are often called blockchain, or sometimes just distributed ledger. The first blockchain was built to enable Bitcoin, but blockchain can be so much more.